I have this sort of insatiable interest in every bit of wisdom you can impart. And as a journalist, I hear you about girding ourselves for this moment. As a human, I deleted Twitter today as an act of self-preservation, and because I was no longer able to find the things I was interested in and was seeing a lot of things that I'm not.
As a journalist, you shouldn't be deleting Twitter to preserve yourself or whatever in the heck that lady is talking about. You should be out here everywhere you can be, on every social media platform you can be on. You should be out here in the streets. You should be doing everything you can to expose yourself to as much information as possible, even if it's information that you don't like, even if sometimes it's viewpoints and opinions that you disagree with. As a journalist, the last thing you should ever do is place yourself in a box or an echo chamber. But that's what these people want. They want an echo chamber. And they're freaking out about X because it is the only social media platform that is not completely controlled by insane leftists. Therefore, right-wing voices are even just people who aren't crazy leftists. Their voices aren't, basically silenced or muzzled. Their accounts aren't shadow banned. You know what I mean? You see, for the longest on social media, leftists controlled the narrative. They controlled everything. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about because so many of you all were probably kicked off of Facebook, banned from this social media site or that social media site. A lot of us went through that over the last 4 years or so. And I'm sure some of you all will be sounding off in the comments below. Go ahead and let me know. What social media site kicked you off for expressing your opinions or your political thoughts, or maybe you criticized the government or certain things that were going on. We all experienced that, okay? So these leftists are used to thriving on these social media platforms where they dominate everything because people like me and you, we get kicked off or we get put in social media jail or banned for a month for saying certain things. So now on X, now that Elon Musk owns X, we have equal playing ground. And what we're starting to realize is that, hey, maybe the left wasn't as dominant as we thought they were. Maybe they're totally idiotic and insane viewpoints and ideologies. Maybe they're not as popular as we thought because there's so much manipulation on social media. And, now that they're starting to realize, now that the left is starting to realize that, hey, they're not as popular as they thought, they're starting to freak out. Like, for example, look at this map. You see, the left isn't just melting down because Donald Trump won. They're melting down because he won by so much. And when they look at this map, it's really intimidating for them. And it's intimidating because of who they are. You see, a lot of these people don't believe in necessarily anything. They just want to fit in. They want to be in the in crowd. They want to be on the popular side. And for the longest, what they thought was the popular side was the left, because the left owned social media and they made it look that way, at least on the internet. But now that they're looking at real world statistics, they're looking at actual numbers, they're looking at this map and it's just red all over. And now they're starting to question things like, hey, I don't know if I want to be on the losing unpopular side. You know what I mean? So their reality is being somewhat shattered. And a lot of them are having to come to terms with the fact that, hey, maybe, just maybe, I was never on the popular side after all. Now, what I want to do here now is I want to roll this clip, though, from CNN, because Van Jones has been one of my favorite people to watch over the course of this election, because he's always breaking down, crying, but he tells some truths as well. And let's just go ahead and listen to what he had to say earlier today.
Here's how we got beat. We got beat because the Republicans and the conservatives built a different media system that had to do with online, had to do with podcasts, had to do with streaming platforms, and they were spending their money there. We were laughing at them and knocking on doors in Philadelphia and Detroit. It's like, there's no Trump people. They're not dropping literature. They're not knocking on doors.
In fact, it was laughing like, oh, Elon Musk and Charlie Kirk with their PACs don't know what they're doing.
We were making fun of Donald Trump for having thrown away his ground game and doing some weird stuff online. We thought that they were idiots. It turned out we were the idiots. We woke up in a body bag because while we were knocking on doors, they were making these phones into 24-hour-a-day political weapons for themselves. And so we got outflanked, outplayed, outbeat by people who told us the whole time that they knew what they were doing.
Now, everything he said there is true. Donald Trump did a great job online connecting with people through these podcasts and things of that nature. But here's the thing. He's acting as if Democrats haven't been doing this as well. The reality is, this is not something that the Democrats weren't trying to do. The reality is, as I just explained, that the Democrats, they own the majority of the social media platforms. They run the majority of big tech. They have all of the big celebrities at their disposal. Even though everything he said here was true, he's making it out as if the Democrats are the underdog. And that's not the case. That's not the case at all. Now, yeah, sure, I wouldn't consider Trump the underdog to Kamala because she sucks, and we know Trump has a passionate fan base. But when it comes to overall the fight that we're up against, the Democrats and the establishment, we are the underdogs. Trump is the underdog. He's not the underdog to Kamala, personally on an individual level, but he's the underdog when you think about everything that he's going up against. Because we know Kamala at the end of the day was just a puppet, just like Biden. So he's acting as if the Democrats didn't have the ability to reach out to people online. He acts as if they weren't doing some of the exact same things Trump was doing. The reality is their message just doesn't connect. It's not genuine. It's absolutely insane. And it's not popular with most people. Most people don't want tampons in boys' bathrooms. Most people don't want weird dudes in dresses reading to their kids. You know what I mean? In the school library. There's so many things that the left has been pushing and it's not popular. So he's acting as if they're not online connecting with people and doing all of the same things Trump did. Yeah, they were doing all of the same things. It's just their message is not as effective. No one wants that. People want what Trump is talking about. And no one wants to listen to Kamala. It's like nails scratching across a chalkboard. On the other hand, people like hearing what Trump has to say. People think he's funny, and different things like that. So I just wanted to set the record clear here that, yeah, okay, Trump and this campaign was very effective, but let's not paint it out like, this was some type of unfair fight or, oh, he had the advantage because of this or because of that. He had the advantage because he was preaching common sense. And America is ready to go back to common sense. But for now, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell. And if you find yourself getting too worked up by all of this, remember, It's just political cinema.